Welcome back. In this first video, we will try to understand the standard definition of cloud computing. So, let me Google for the standard definition of cloud computing. Great. Looks like NIST has given a proper definition for cloud computing. I hope you already know about NIST. The National Institute of Standards and Technology is a crucial organization in promoting equitable standards. Let's see how they define cloud computing. You can download the PDF document. Well, it is a small document that gives an elaborate definition of cloud computing. Scroll down to see the NIST definition of cloud computing. Pause the video and read it at least once. You do not need to memorize the definition, but try to remember few keywords. On-demand, shared pool of resources, rapid provisioning, minimal management and service provider interaction. The most reasonable definition for cloud computing must have all or some of these keywords. However, you also need to understand the definition as well as the core idea of cloud computing. The definition talks about the on-demand network access to a shared pool of computing resources. So, we understand that the cloud computing is a model of enabling on-demand access of some computing resources from a shared pool. But what are those resources? They talk about the following: network, servers, storage, applications, and some other services. This list is not exhaustive, and we will learn about many more cloud resources. But this is good to start explaining some other concepts. So, in short, the definition says, cloud computing is a model of enabling convenient and on-demand provisioning of these resources. That is all. However, this definition is incomplete without three things: essential characteristics, service models, and finally, the deployment models. You must understand each of these terms and, if possible, remember them as well. Let's try to understand what it means. We will start with the deployment models. So, cloud computing can be deployed in 4 deployment models: private cloud, community cloud, public cloud, and hybrid cloud. The private cloud is designed and deployed for a single organization. That is all, and that's critical information. The private cloud may be owned, managed, operated, and supported by the organization's people, or all of this may be offered by a third-party vendor. It may exist within the organization boundary or outside. Nothing else matters. The key criteria to call it private is just one single thing: the entire infrastructure is provisioned for exclusive use by a single organization and its internal sub-organizations and business units. That is all. What is community cloud? Simple. When more than one organizations join their hands to create a private cloud and share its services among themselves, we call it a community cloud. The reason for creating a shared community cloud could be anything. It could be economical, technical, or some other business reasons. But the entire infrastructure is designed and provisioned for a limited number of organizations, and the services are shared by these organizations only. That is all. That's what is a community cloud. The next one is the public cloud. I hope you understand this already. A public cloud computing infrastructure is designed and provisioned by an entity and offered to the general public or any other organization for use. Often, these services are paid for the use. However, it may be provided for free or using some additional terms and conditions. But the main criteria is to make it available for any random person or a company for agreed terms and conditions. The last one is the hybrid cloud. A hybrid cloud is a composition of 2 distinct cloud infrastructures. It could be a combination of 2 or more, but different public clouds. Or it could be a public and private combination. The point is straight. You can combine public, private, and community clouds in whatever way you want. It doesn't matter. The only criteria to call it hybrid is that both the participating clouds remain independent. Still, their services will work and integrate together using the technology. That is all. Great. Now let's talk about the essential characteristics of cloud computing. NIST defines 5 characteristics. Let me quickly explain each of these. The first one talks about 2 things: on-demand and self-service. And it simply means that you or your organization should be allowed to use cloud services without human interaction with the cloud service provider. For example, if you want to create a Linux server, you or someone from your team should do it by themselves. It should not be like you need to call or request someone from your cloud service provider and then he is provisioning a Linux server for you. No, you or someone from your team must be able to do an on-demand self-service. Make sense? The next one is broad network access. This one simply means that the cloud services must be available for access remotely over the network connection. You are not expected to walk into a secure premise to access it. It must be available to you over a network using the standard mechanisms such as HTTPS or TCP/IP. The next one is resource pooling. This one simply means that the cloud provider must be creating a pool of resources that can be assigned in smaller pieces to customers as and when they demand it. That is all, nothing more than that. The fourth one is rapid elasticity. That means the customer of cloud services must be allowed to increase or decrease the capabilities in any quantity and at any time. Finally, the last characteristic is the measured service. This feature means that the cloud services and resource usage are allowed to measure, monitor, report, and control in a transparent manner to the customers. That's all about the characteristics. The next thing is to understand the service models. Cloud computing is offered in 3 service models: infrastructure as a service, platform as a service, and software as a service. More often, a cloud platform might offer you all of the 3 service models. However, you must understand the difference between these and clearly segregate services into these 3 categories. Infrastructure as a service is the most simple to understand. This model offers you the most essential infrastructure resources such as processing power, storage, network, and other fundamental services such as firewalls, etc. These resources allow you to deploy, run, and manage your choice of software. Such software could be an operating system or any other application such as a web server or a database. Platform as a service is the next level of cloud service model. The platform allows you to deploy your software and its configurations without worrying or knowing about the underlying infrastructure. You do not manage or control these server machines, operating system, storage, and network in the platform model. All of the infrastructure items are managed and owned by the service provider. And you can deploy your applications, some configurations, and some other settings. That is all. The rest is taken care of by the cloud platform service provider. Great. The third and the highest level of service model is the software as a service. In this model, the cloud service provider offers you software deployed and running in the cloud platform. You can access the software application using the browser or maybe thin client or maybe using APIs or other types of interfaces such as CLI. The application consumer is not responsible for managing the underlying infrastructure and even the application software and its capabilities. However, you may be given some limited control over configuring the application as per your requirements. Great, that's all about the cloud computing definition. I recommend that you remember these characteristics, service models, and deployment models and understand these terms. You might not get direct memory-based questions about them, but you will be evaluated for your understanding of these concepts. I haven't given any examples to classify things into different service models or into other delivery models, but nothing to worry about much. As you progress with the course, your understanding of these terms will keep getting more precise and concrete. Great, that's all for this video. Keep learning and keep growing.